This is the moment I got a vasectomy.
Count to 3 so it's not a complete surprise.
All right.
3 months later, this is the moment that I found out that it worked.
Test results are in now. It says, no sperm seen in sample meeting the AUA standards for sterility.
Now, a lot of guys have questions about this. I had a lot of questions. Does it hurt? What's it like before and after? Is intimacy different? And I'm going to break down my whole experience. From the very beginning of our marriage, my wife and I always knew that we wanted kids, and that once our family felt complete, that I would get a vasectomy.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Now, this was in 2012, where the rates in which men getting vasectomies was much lower and the discourse around the whole topic was very little. But since then, we've seen a steep increase in men electing to get vasectomies for a variety of reasons, with many of them happening in March year over year, which scientists still can't understand why that month. And I'm seeing it firsthand, as a majority of the guys who live around me have actually all done it. Now, your approach to family planning or birth control will vary depending on a lot of factors. It's a decision that you'll need to make on your own or with your partner, and it can be impacted by political ideology, religious beliefs, or socioeconomic and accessibility factors. There's a lot, right? But the reasons for a vasectomy would include it being the most reliable form of birth control aside from outright abstinence and butt stuff. Now, contraceptives and pills have their place, but as a long-term solution, someone is having to make a sacrifice, whether that's with comfort during sex or hormonal effects. For me, the main reason is I just didn't want to put my wife through more than she needed to, which she was aligned with as well. My wife gave birth to 3 children and endured complications with birth control pills and IUDs in between each of the pregnancies. I don't think that burden of birth control should have to be carried by women alone, having to adapt to hormones until their 50s or whenever menopause kicks in, right? Not when something so simple is available.
I'm not taking a pill. Hell no, the girl should be taking that shit. Come on.
Why? Literally why?
Because
Oh, are you too much of a ass to take a pill every day?
I gotta go to work.
Oh, but you're ready to pump yourself full of testosterone because your hairline
Hell
is balding
yeah.
a little bit. Like, be so for real right now.
If someone told me, Miz, start taking a pill that will change your hormones, would I take it to get laid? Nope.
So why would you want your partner to?
I don't give a
We should have birth control for men.
They do, bro. Snip, snip.
Now, I assume you already knew this, but just for the sake of the video, a vasectomy is a simple and safe procedure where the vas deferens, which is like the tubes that carry the sperm from the testicles to the urethra, right? That's when that's cut or blocked to prevent sperm from reaching semen when... So there's your high school health class refresher, right? Now, it's not castration where your testicles are completely removed, which may seem like a dumb assumption to think that, but you'd be surprised with how many guys think that that's the same thing, which it's not. Now, as the confusion and stigma around the topic of vasectomies lifts more and more, men are opting into it. But what is it like? This is where experiences will differ. And by the way, use the comment section to share positive, negative experiences. I want it to be an open forum where guys can just read more stories and get encouragement or fear punched into them. I don't know. Conventional vasectomies were done with a scalpel where small cuts were made into the scrot and then, they reach into the vas, cut it, cauterize or tie off the ends. A close friend of mine went this route. For him, the recovery was a lot longer and a lot more uncomfortable, but the results were the same. I opted for a different route. I went with a no scalpel, no needle procedure. First, I was numbed, but not with a needle, right? It was basically like this jet spray pen that was applied on multiple spots.
No needles, it's no needle, no scalpel. So the medicine just sprays out like that.
Okay.
And believe it or not, that was actually the most painful part of the procedure. And I actually wouldn't call it painful. Imagine a rubber band moderately snapping at you. That's what it felt like. Everything that happened after that point, I didn't feel. Next, a tiny cut is made and it's no larger than a grain of rice. After, they have a tool to reach for the vas and then snip, snip. And by the way, according to our channel analytics, a majority of the guys watching this video are dads. And if you are, you should cop one of these rad dad hoodies from huckberry.com. Huckberry is the channel sponsor for Dad Verb. Now, whether you're out on an adventure or just chasing your kids around, Huckberry's got the gear to keep you looking sharp, feeling comfortable. They've got a great blend of style and function. You'll find all the gear Dad needs to stay ready for whatever comes your way. huckberry.com. Thanks for supporting dads.
Leading up to the appointment, they gave me like a document of like medicines that I should and shouldn't be taking. I gotta be like clean shaved, and there's just like a process. I'm smooth as eggs right now down there. That's the one, Sweet 120. That's the one.
Gentle procedure.
That's what I picked it because it's called Gentle Procedures.
Now, throughout this video, you've been seeing Dr. Tim McAuliffe with Gentle Procedures in Richardson, Texas, who was gracious enough to let me record this whole thing. Overall, it took about 12 minutes before I was stitched up and done. The only odd part was the notable smell of my flesh burning when he cauterized one end of the vase. Now, I didn't feel it, but I could see the smoke and I could smell the burn.
Cut the tube in half, and then you'll see a little puff of smoke. I cauterize or burn the inside of the tube. So cut, cauterize. Third thing is I bury or hide that same tube underneath some fascia. It can't grow through the fascia, and that way the two sides don't reconnect, go back together. And then the fourth thing is I trim off part of the other side, the side that comes off the testicle. That way, if the two sides were somehow around each other, there'd still be a space between them.
A small note, here in the United States, some insurance will cover a vasectomy, many won't, right? Prices are gonna vary. I've heard ranges anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Mine costs $680. Now, recovery is the next phase of all of this, and I've heard a wide range of experiences here where it was sore for a couple days and pretty easy after, and others where the discomfort lasted for a very long time and it absolutely sucked. A majority of guys, including myself though, fall into category A, where they take it easy for a few days and are able to move with a fair amount of ease after about a week or even less. And this is why so many vasectomies happen in March here in the United States. Guys can just sit around and watch the NCAA basketball tournament and watch a 6 seed lose to an 11 seed.
That will officially do it.
For me, it took about 10 days before I felt ready to run again. For the most part, I kept icing and walked pretty gingerly. It's a very bland recap of my recovery, but other than just slight tenderness, it wasn't anything crazy. Like my recovery was actually fine and very drama-free. Now, it's very important to note that you can't just start having unprotected sex with the assumption that you're clear and sperm-free. Your doctor's gonna instruct you, but it's common to wait about 10 to 12 weeks and 20 to 30 ejaculations before you can submit a sample for testing. But once you get tested through your doctor or a third party, which is what my doctor instructed me to do, they had me submit through something called mailfromhome.com, you'll get a result that would hopefully look like this.
No sperm seen in sample meeting the AUA standards for sterility. This is the expected result after a vasectomy. It's weird to call myself like sterile. I get that that's the point of all this, but it's weird to just officially have that label.
Now, please guys, don't take that last part very lightly, right? I've heard stories of people who just, they went at it assuming that they're sperm free. You got to give it time. You got to make sure it's tested because you don't want any surprises. Because there are stories of people getting surprised. Now, to answer a very common question, is anything different? Is sex different? For me, no, everything still functions and acts exactly as it did before, just with no sperm. There have only been a couple occasions where I would feel like a quick little twinge of pain in certain circumstances, but otherwise, it's all the same. So that's my experience, and I hope it's been informative for you. If you have deeper questions, I'm just a guy with a camera. I'm not a doctor. It's probably better to find a urologist, set up a meet, ask some questions that way. I'll do my best to answer questions based off of my experience. If you have any, comment down below. For any guys out there that can provide any extra color or want to share your experience, again, like I mentioned before, please comment below. Thanks again to Dr. Tim McAuliffe with Gentle Procedures for letting me record in their office. If you're in the Dallas area, I would definitely encourage you to check out his practice. I had a great experience with him. I'm gonna give my glowing recommendation there.
Sienna is freaking out because she thinks she's getting a shot right now. Sorry, sweetheart. You're actually okay. You're not getting anything. Don't worry, sweetie. It's a daddy's time.
I'll have them linked below if you want to check them out. Again, they're not the sponsors of this video. Huckberry is, but check out both those links. This is a good hoodie, by the way. You should absolutely, at the very least, click the link and buy it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.